I wanted to show you something. Do you know who Andrew Huberman is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's a neuroscientist at
Sure.
Stanford, an associate professor. He
Sure.
has a podcast.
Right.
I don't know if you listen to that or anything like
I
that.
saw his recent podcast a couple months ago about nocturia, and he did not explain the relationship unless you know of
Okay.
another podcast.
No, but actually, I want to play that because you're talking exactly about that. But he has a 5 minute clip on that. I cut it down to about 2.5 minutes. You've probably seen it, but I want to play it for the audience, and then I want you to give your take on it. Okay.
Sure thing.
You need about 8 ounces or 240 milliliters of fluid per hour for the first 10 hours of your day after waking. Now, why did I say for the first 10 hours? Well, it turns out that the filtration of fluids from your body, which is accomplished, of course, by your kidneys and by way of your bladder and the excretion of fluid out your urethra, so-called urination, is strongly, strongly circadian dependent. And we can make all of this very simple by simply stating what's contained in this beautiful review that I'll provide a link to if you want to learn more, called Circadian Rhythms in the Kidney. And basically what is known is that for the first 10 hours after waking, your kidney is filtering fluid within your body at a very rapid rate. However, at about 10 hours after waking, your kidney really starts to reduce its overall level of functioning. Now, that doesn't mean that your kidney cannot filter fluid 11 or 12 or 16 hours after waking, but it becomes far less efficient at doing so. And thank goodness it does, because you do not want your kidney filtering fluid at the same rate at midnight that it was filtering fluid at 10 a.m. In fact, we can say that if you want to reduce your nighttime waking in order to urinate, there I say it's perfectly normal to wake up once, maybe twice each night to urinate. But if you want to reduce the number of times that you wake up in order to urinate across the night, maybe even make that number 0 times, you will greatly benefit by doing 3 things. First of all, make sure that you're hydrating sufficiently during the daytime. That will ensure that you are not excessively thirsty in the evening and therefore consuming a lot more fluid. Second, and related to that first point, is that you do want to reduce your fluid intake at night, provided you hydrated sufficiently throughout the day. And believe it or not, the rate at which fluid moves from your gut and into the cells and tissues of your body, and then from your bladder into urine, is determined not just by the volume of fluid you ingest, but also the rate at which you ingest that fluid. So here's what I recommend. Throughout the day, when you're trying to get your adequate yield of water or other beverages, feel free to gulp that fluid or sip it. In the evening, if you are somebody who has challenges with waking up excessively in the middle of the night, reduce your fluid intake, provided you've hydrated properly throughout the day. And I suggest consuming no more than 5, maybe 8 ounces of fluid between the time of 10 hours after waking and when you go to sleep.
So, what do you make of that?
There's points there that may be accurate, but this is not a complete story. So let me ask you this question. If I put somebody on a PAP machine who is urinating 4 times a night, or twice a night, or once a night, and they report after a week or two they no longer have trips to the bathroom, what then is normal trips to the bathroom? The scientific literature, unfortunately, and the lay media, unfortunately, continue to believe that 1 to 2 trips to the bathroom at night is normal. Sleep medicine argues differently because we have a pathophysiology far more advanced than what was described there to explain why you wake up to pee. This also doesn't explain why I actually would prefer to be hydrated during the night. And so in my own experimentation, I can drink as much as 32 ounces of fluid within 1 hour of going to sleep and not wake up to pee. And so this pathophysiology that he did not mention, I believe, would be a more complete picture to draw. And it's very specific. You know, when you have increased chest cavity pressure, increasingly negative intrathoracic pressure because you're trying to breathe from sleep apnea, you're pushing too much blood too rapidly into the right atrium, and the right atrium, either figuratively or literally, is distending because it feels there is excess blood, excess flow. The right atrium of the heart has its own diuretic, ANP, atrial natriuretic peptide. Studies have been done proving all of this. The diuretic, the amount of urine, all of this stuff has been proven over 30 years ago. So what does that diuretic do? It goes to the kidneys during the night, and you start waking up to pee more times. What does sleep apnea treatment do? You could do a dental device. You could do a PAP machine. I actually know some people who've used nasal strips and said they've had some reduction in their trips to the bathroom. So that pathophysiology is completely reversed. You do no longer have the chest cavity pressure building up, pushing excess blood into the right atrium, so the right atrium does not release a diuretic. It's astonishing how many sleep doctors know this and how many other doctors don't. Some urologists are beginning to catch on. Some cardiologists definitely are catching on. But it's very common for people to be espousing this idea that 1 to 2 trips to the bathroom at night is normal. And I would say, okay, well, if it's normal, what would you say if it went away by using a PAP machine? Would you still say the 1 to 2 is normal? Or would you say, hey, I think normal might be 0 and I like 0?